What if I told you that the doubt that has been living in your mind for years is an impostor, that it is not yours, that it was not born with you, but was instead installed, piece by piece, not by truth or evidence, but by the relentless hypnotic power of repetition? What if I revealed to you that this mental parasite was carefully cultivated by every teacher who told you to be realistic, every well-meaning relative who advised you to play it safe, every headline that screamed of economic disaster, and every single time you watched a powerful man shrink himself to fit into a small cage built by his own fear? Think on this with the full force of your intellect. Every hesitation you have ever carried, every quiet, insidious voice that told you to wait, to hold back, to question your own God-given strength, was never yours to begin with. It was borrowed intellectual property. It was programmed into the fertile soil of your subconscious mind when you were too young to stand guard at the gate. It was repeated until it felt like a fundamental part of your character. But it is, and always has been, a fraud. You were not made to question your own power. You were made to build. You were made to rise. You were made to win. Not eventually, not someday when the stars magically align, but now. And if you will stay with me through this broadcast, not half listening while attending to other tasks, but fully present, as if your entire future depends on it, because it does if you will allow these words to become the new programming for the very system that has quietly allowed doubt to dictate your steps, then your identity itself will begin to shift. What I am offering you is not a fleeting dose of motivation. It is a full recalibration of your mind. We are here to perform surgery on your belief system, and the cancer we are removing, cell by cell, is doubt. This is the very essence of true self-development, the act of seizing conscious control of your own mental kingdom and evicting all unauthorized occupants. The difference between failure and success lies in discipline. Welcome to Napoleon Hill's discipline. I have dedicated my life to the study of a single, profound subject: achievement. For more than 20 years, I dissected the lives of the world's most powerful and successful individuals, searching for the master key that unlocked the vault of their accomplishments. The secrets I uncovered, the 13 immutable principles that govern the accumulation of all riches, were codified for you in my book, Think and Grow Rich. But today, we go beyond those principles to confront the silent enemy that renders them all impotent. It is the saboteur in your own mind, the ghost in your mental machinery that whispers retreat in the face of every great opportunity. We are here to talk about doubt. And more importantly, we are here to systematically, ruthlessly, and permanently destroy it. This is not a lecture. This is an exorcism. Let me be perfectly and brutally clear. You were not born with doubt, no man island. Doubt is not a natural instinct hardwired into your soul. It is a condition, a disease of the environment, a mental pestilence that grows only where it is fed. And the modern world, my friend, is a grand, all-you-can-eat feast for this parasite. You were born with an internal fire, with limitless curiosity, with a hunger to explore, to create, and to conquer your world. Observe any child. He does not wonder if he can walk. He simply tries. He does not ask for permission to explore. He moves. He falls, he cries, and he rises again, not because he is certain of success, but because he has not yet been taught the sophisticated and paralyzing language of fear. Doubt is learned. It is a lesson taught in schools that prize conformity over creativity. It is modeled by parents who have surrendered their own dreams and now seek to protect you from the same disappointment by clipping your wings. It is repeated by a society that is deeply suspicious of the man who believes in himself too much, labeling him arrogant or foolish. By the time you are a grown man, you have been thoroughly hypnotized into believing that your power is dangerous, that your inner fire must be tamed, and that grand ambition is a folly reserved for a chosen few. The practical cost of this malicious programming is catastrophic. It is the empty bank account, a direct result of a lack of financial planning which itself is born from a deep-seated fear of taking bold, calculated risks on oneself. It is the stagnant career development, where promotions and opportunities consistently go to less talented but more decisive men. It is the life of quiet desperation that Thoreau spoke of, where your greatest ideas, the very blueprints for your fortune, die in the cradle of your mind, never seeing the light of day. This is not living, it is the slow, agonizing process of spiritual suicide by 1,000 daily hesitations. In my work, Outwitting the Devil, I identify this state as drifting. The drifter is ruled by doubt. He hesitates, he procrastinates, he seeks the opinions of everyone, and ultimately acts on none of them. He lives in a self-imposed prison, and the bars of that prison are forged from indecision. This is the mental state where the profound principles of Think and Grow Rich remain inert, like seeds sown on barren, rocky soil. You can possess the greatest plan in the world, the most definite of aims, but if doubt is at the helm of your ship, it will never leave the harbor. The healing journey toward an abundance mindset cannot even begin until this saboteur is identified, confronted, and thrown mercilessly overboard. But here is the great liberating truth that forms the bedrock of my entire philosophy. If doubt was learned, then belief can be built. And that building process begins today, not with a gentle wish, but with a single defiant act of mental rebellion. It begins with your conscious decision to reject the idea that you must be hesitant just because others are. It is time to start a new program, to uninstall the software of fear, and to install a new operating system based on the immutable laws of achievement. This is where my work becomes your weapon. Belief is not a magical feeling you wait for to descend upon you. Belief is a decision you make, and then you reinforce that decision with relentless, unwavering, daily discipline. The men I studied for Think and Grow Rich were not supermen. They were simply supreme masters of their own minds. They understood that their internal world created their external world, and they acted with the certainty that this was law. Consider Henry Ford. He was not a man born into advantage or privilege. Yet, he absolutely refused to learn the language of doubt. When the most educated and experienced engineers in his employ told him it was scientifically impossible to build an 8-cylinder engine in a single solid block, he did not debate them. He did not form a committee to study the problem. He gave a simple, final command: produce it anyway. That is not the language of hope. That is the language of belief, forged into an unbreakable command. Ford had trained his mind to obey his vision, not his environment. He had systematically unlearned doubt and replaced it with the raw discipline of decision. Thomas Edison failed over 10,000 times in his pursuit of a stable electric light. Imagine that. 10,000 moments where doubt could have seized the throne of his mind and declared victory. But Edison didn't even entertain doubt as a possibility because he had built something far stronger, an unshakable identity. He didn't say, "Maybe I can do this." His entire being declared, "I am the man who will." That identity became his armor. Belief, for him, wasn't rooted in the fluctuating evidence of his daily experiments. It was rooted in the adamantine certainty of his internal repetition. This is your path from fear to empowerment. You do not wait to become confident. You decide to be confident, and then you act your way into the living embodiment of that reality. You do not hope to one day become fearless. You decide to stay hard and act even when your knees are shaking. This very act begins to rewrite the code of who you are. The foundation of this transformation is the scientific use of autosuggestion, the deliberate programming of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious is your most obedient servant. It does not argue, it only accepts. For years, you have unconsciously allowed it to be programmed by the fears and limitations of others. Starting now, you seize control of the programming. You will feed it a new diet, a diet of your own chosen beliefs, your definite chief aim, and powerful motivational quotes that resonate with the man you are commanding yourself to become. This is not wishful thinking. This is the very science of personal achievement, the core of all effective manifestation techniques. The time for abstract theory is over. The moment for relentless execution is now. To permanently uninstall the virus of doubt from your mind, you must adopt a new code of conduct, a new set of personal laws. These are not suggestions. They are the disciplines practiced by the industrial giants and visionary leaders I studied. They are your new reality. First, the discipline of decided identity. Identity is not discovered, it is decided. You do not stumble into greatness, you declare it. The most powerful moment in any man's life is the moment he makes a decision so clear, so profound, and so final that his old, hesitant self can no longer survive in its presence. The men who built this world all did one thing first. They decided who they were, not based on their current circumstances, but based on their unwavering vision. Your first act of discipline is to make this decision. Who are you? Who have you decided to be, starting from this exact moment? You must write your new identity in stone. Create an identity contract with yourself. Not, I hope to be a leader, but I am a leader who inspires action. Not, I will try to be wealthy, but I am a magnate for wealth. And I am building my abundance mindset with every disciplined action I take. You must say aloud, with force, I am not a man of hesitation. I am a man of execution. My instruction, learned directly from the great Andrew Carnegie, is to repeat this new identity statement every morning upon waking and every night before sleeping. Speak it with authority until your subconscious mind has no choice but to accept it as law. Feeling will always follow form. You must form the identity first, and the emotions of confidence and power will rise to support it. Second, the discipline of finality. Burn the boats. Movement without total commitment is not progress. It is merely dabbling. It is a fool's game. No empire was ever built by a man who kept a backup plan for mediocrity. The greats understood a sobering truth. If you leave a bridge to your old life standing, fear will always tempt you to cross it during the first storm. The Spanish conquistador Hernán Cortés, upon landing on the shores of Mexico to face a vastly superior force, gave a legendary command: burn the ships. He understood that when the human mind believes there is a way out, it never fully commits to the way forward. This is a timeless principle of all high achievement. You must destroy your exits. What is your retreat? Is it the soul-crushing job you keep as a safety net? Is it the habit of silence when you should speak your truth? Is it the endless research for a business you never start? These are not strategies. They are shelters for fear. They are permission slips for failure. To truly focus on yourself and your purpose-driven mission, you must eliminate the other options. When you do this, a profound fear will arise. Be grateful for that fear. It is the death rattle of your old self. It is the sign that your commitment is real. This is where you must stay hard and hold the line. Say it aloud. There is no retreat. I have made my decision. The door behind me is permanently gone. Third, the discipline of the commanded voice. There is a voice in your mind that determines the quality of your life long before the world ever has a chance to touch you. This is the realm of autosuggestion. Your subconscious mind accepts as truth whatever is repeated to it with faith and emotion. For too long, you have spoken carelessly to yourself. You have joked about your flaws, rehearsed your worries, and entertained worst-case scenarios. Your subconscious heard these as direct instructions and has been faithfully obeying them. From this day forward, you change the script. You must become the absolute commander of your inner dialogue. Create a power phrase, a short, impactful mantra to use as a mental interrupter. The moment a doubtful thought arises, you deploy your phrase. Something like, "This thought is unauthorized. I move with power." Or, "I do not consult fear. I act on purpose." This practice is the engine of all wealth creation and the true secret behind the law of attraction. You are consciously tuning your mind to the frequency of success. When your internal repetition of belief becomes louder and more consistent than the world's external noise of doubt, you cannot fail. You have made it a mathematical impossibility. Fourth, the discipline of immediate action. Here is a law that never fails. Action is the great antidote to fear and doubt. You cannot think your way out of a prison of hesitation. You must act your way out. Even the smallest, most insignificant physical step towards your goal immediately short-circuits the paralyzing feedback loop of fear. Indecision is the seedbed where fear grows. Action plows that field under. Every morning, after declaring your identity, you must take one immediate, physical action that confirms it. It does not have to be the largest task, only the first. Send one email. Make one phone call. Write one paragraph. This creates momentum. It proves to your subconscious mind that you are a man who does what he says he will do. Over time, your subconscious begins to trust you. This trust is the foundation of unshakable self-confidence. This is the no excuses philosophy in its purest form. This is how you answer the question, how bad do you want it? Not with words, but with motion. We are at the end of this transmission, but we are at the absolute beginning of your new life. The voice of doubt must now be silenced. Not debated, not reasoned with, not comforted, but starved, strangled, and killed. You starve it with faith, you kill it with repetition, and you burn its corpse with the unquenchable fire of decisive daily action. You are no longer allowed to be the man who doubts. He is gone. His lease on your mental real estate has been terminated, effective immediately. We do not negotiate with his voice. We do not make room for his excuses. He had his turn at the helm of your life, and he steered it into the shallow waters of mediocrity. Now, it is your turn. The man you have chosen to become doesn't need to feel ready. He moves because he said he would. He is grateful for challenges because they are the grit that sharpens the blade of his will. Here is your final command. This is not a suggestion. It is your first order as the new commander of your mind. Decide and declare. Tonight, take out a pen and paper and write your identity contract. Start with the words, I am the man who, and finish it with the highest and grandest vision you hold for yourself. Then, stand before a mirror and speak it aloud 10 times, each time with more force and conviction than the last. Burn. Identify your primary boat, your main psychological retreat. Write it on a piece of paper and, in a safe and controlled manner, set it on fire. As you watch it turn to ash, declare aloud, My retreat is gone forever. I move forward only. This is a profound ritual of commitment. Act. Tomorrow morning, upon waking, repeat your identity statement. Then, before your mind has time to protest, take one immediate, concrete action that aligns with that new identity. Do not think. Do not hesitate. Just move. This is your moment. This is where the philosophy of Napoleon Hill and the power of Think and Grow Rich cease to be a book on your shelf and become the life you live. Repeat this broadcast. Repeat your commands. Repeat your actions until your old self cannot survive the righteous flame of your new identity. The man who wins doesn't need 1,000 answers. He just needs to know who he is and walk like it's already done. Now, walk. And don't you dare look back. Subscribe to begin your training with Napoleon Hill's discipline. You were not made to doubt. You were made to win.